Okay, if you're watching this, you're either a doctor that I've reached out to, or you someone that I know who is trying to possibly help me out by giving this information to a doctor that you know. So tomorrow I have my gallbladder surgery, and I wanted to make this video before I went into that because I wanted to kind of get all my symptoms in one place, in one video, which I haven't shared yet. So I categorize them in two ways. One is the main symptoms, and then at the bottom there's some smaller symptoms which individually don't is not that bad for the quality of life, but could be clues that can help find out the top symptoms, right? I'm going to go through these first, the top ones, and I will try my best to give a degree, because this is the single most biggest issue in this entire journey to try to find out this problem and find solutions to it, is because the words I say when I say head pressure is the same word someone says when they're having their once a year headache and they take an Advil and they're good. So what I want to do is try my best to give examples of what happens to me and to what degree, and hopefully that paints a picture. So number one is head pressure. If I speak more than, let's say, 20 minutes, I start to feel a pressure in my head, right? So any kind of phone call, I have to keep it under 10 minutes at most times, 15 minutes if it's pushing it. If a phone call generally goes over 30 minutes, it's definitely something that's going to cause a lot of pain, pressure, sometimes even shortness of breath just from speaking. And I'll have to spend hours resting and taking it easy for the coming days in the week. So this is one of the biggest things that has a lot of effect in my quality of life. I can't speak most of the time. And it increases dramatically if I eat oily food. So this is something that I never go expose myself to, any kind of anything that has fat, right? Not just coconut oil, olive oil, and those kind of things. I have zero of that. I use different pans in the home when I do cooking, just in case there's some leftover oil and didn't get fully scrubbed out when people when other people in the house used the same pans. Just to give an example. Food wise, I don't cook with anything that has oil. I only use water to cook everything, and I only eat two types of items: sweet potatoes and wild caught salmon, and I straight bake them both. I don't put any oil of any kind. I can't tolerate chicken, beef, any kind of meat because it has natural oils. I can't eat an avocado. That instantly causes a lot of problems: shortness of breath, blackouts almost, in terms of just like tunnel vision, blackouts. I would just have to sit down and be quiet if something was to enter in my body of that kind. Fat and oil increases head pressure. Number two, wrist pain. So I can't use my fingers to do a lot of typing. Currently, I'm using a air mouse for this video, so I can go through without taking too long. But generally, I use a foot mouse. So I use my computer using the foot, and I have a clicking system with this device here. Whenever I rest it, it will click, by itself. So that's with the hand pain. It increases when if I try to click a lot, it increases, but the most damage it gets is, again, if I get in any kind of oily food. This was hard for me to diagnose myself for some time. I used to always think that the biggest trigger for it is overuse, or trying to use it a lot, or type out full sentences using my hands and not try to type with my foot or my with voice speech. I thought that was the biggest thing, but it's the biggest triggers are still food, especially fruits, bananas, grapes, fruits like that. Has instant effect on my hand pain, wrist pain, shin, feet. These two alone is what bogs me down to, basically, heading towards a cripple with these two. So any kind of discovery in one of these two is going to make a huge difference. Digestion problems, can't tolerate any food. Started mainly becoming a problem in 2018. 2019 was when things got severe, meaning I couldn't tolerate chicken. I couldn't tolerate even like fat-free sausages. I stopped being able to tolerate even things like broccoli and certain vegetables. And currently I'm at a point where like I said, I only eat 2 items: sweet potatoes and salmon. That's it. Now, in breakfast, I'm able to have a root vegetable called edo, and I have some beef broth and some carrots that are well cooked and celery. So I do have some variety in my breakfast, which is interesting, because with other types of autoimmune conditions that I know of, sometimes people can't eat anything. They just eat one item for breakfast, lunch, dinner, like beef and salt. That's like one of the common ones I've seen. Whereas I can tolerate some vegetables. Like I was able to add spinach not too long ago to my breakfast, as long as I blend it. So if it's well cooked, boiled, and then I blend it down to a liquid, then I'm able to tolerate it. But if I was to just eat the spinach normally, I can't break it down and I have problems. Shortness of breath, 4th biggest one. That's if I go near smoke, I have shortness of breath. This is not just smoking. It's like if I'm walking on the street and somebody like quite far away, sometimes far enough that I don't know where it's coming from. Like I can't see the person, but I got a whiff of the smell, I would have shortness of breath. So extreme. It's not even it's almost like allergic, because it's shortness of breath instantly. And definitely if I eat oily food, any kind of oil or meat, chicken, beef, avocado, everything I just explained. It's been some time I have tried any of these things, because I stopped strict trying to go in front of it, because pretty much every time it gets worse. Every time I feel that I'm getting more sensitive every couple of months. So as time passed, I became very fearful of going towards near these kind of foods and things like that. Oils, definitely, all out of the question. I don't even wash dishes that used oil. So if that makes sense, right? I don't even touch oil at all. That's how careful I have to be of oil directly, like olive oil, coconut oil, things like that. Okay, so these are the top 4 symptoms that I have. And now I'll get into some of the clues. Number 1, I'm extremely sensitive to cold. I have to shower with pretty hot water, not just warm, for me to feel comfortable. And that's not just like a, like a preference. It's not just an enjoyment, although I do like it, be like hot shower compared to like normal or cold, because I would shiver for hours afterwards. Meat jacket, that should be need jacket. So this is voice typed. All right, I was typing a little bit. Meat jacket when it's like 60 degrees outside. Again, it's try to give some examples. My girlfriend says she's kind of sensitive to cold. She doesn't need a jacket at 60 degrees. Her mother has cancer. She's anemic. She's very frail and weak, and she's known to be very sensitive to cold. She doesn't like cold, but can still go on a walk and not as sensitive as I am. So here, these kind of things, it just becomes extremely important to understand the degree, because any person can say these words, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of words to explain these things, but hopefully I can paint a picture with providing some degrees and things like that, so you can understand that as a 28-year-old guy who shivers for hours if he was to step outside for 10-15 minutes is not in the normal sense. So unable to tolerate stress on the body. So this got dramatically worse in the last year to year and a half. 2018, I stopped being able to do any kind of heavy lifting, anything to do with huge leg movements or squats or any kind of bench press was gone years ago. stuff like that. 19, I started to realize that I would limp if I go for like a walk, because I used to have to go get groceries. It was like a little bit wild, like maybe 10 blocks, and I would sometimes limp, and I wasn't sure if I like hurt my feet or something, and then I would forget about it because my day-to-day didn't consist of too much walking anyways, until it started getting worse. Now it's to a point where I can't walk barefoot. From the moment I get out of bed, I have my socks lined up, my shoes lined up, I get right into my shoes. I can't walk barefoot at all. I'm having to get something like a jelly pad for my shower because the shower floor is too hard for me to stand on. I can't walk too much. I can walk around the house. I recently have been training myself to not walk when I talk on the phone. It's a habit of mine. When I talk on the phone, I like to get up and walk around. I have to sit down. Oftentimes I realize that if I talk on the phone and I get carried away and I walk around, then I would have to spend days, dealing with the pain and massage my feet out and stuff like that. So that's that. Now the biggest issue with this that I feel is, other than I can't walk, is I can't exercise, right? It used to be one of the things that helped me a lot with all aspects of life, and I can't do that anymore at all whatsoever. Last year, I was to at least be able to elliptical. I can't jog, but I used to be able to do elliptical, and now I can't do that either because the head pressure gets too high, and I start to get dizzy and vertigo, and just certain effects, and my heart rate goes way out of whack, and it's just overall, like, you could say some like 10% anxiety because of all the things that are going on, but mostly like head pressure and pain, and then the limbs, like actually just not being able to take pressure because my feet, shin, bones hurt. Losing hair, this is not a big deal, but it's something that could leave a clue. I've lost a lot of hair. It's, I think, sometimes hard to tell. I don't know how to tell. It's just a lot thinner. Like every time I used to shower, it just come out in clumps. That's something that I realized has been happening over the last year and a half. Loss of balance, especially early in the mornings. So right after I get up, I have been getting loss of balance. This is something that started in 2020, and usually like right after I get up, I often have to use the wall for just like balance, and I would lean against it until I make it to the bathroom. Stays around an hour to hour and a half. Usually gets better after I eat breakfast for the day, and that's just one of the things that's been getting worse, slightly getting worse over the last couple of months. Started in 2020. Vertigo. This is when things like spin. It's not vertigo where like I feel dizzy or anything. I feel like sometimes people have different definitions for this. This is when the room is spinning. So like the room spins halfway and then comes back and rapidly, right? So it causes like nausea, and it's very scary sometimes when it comes like out of the blue. So usually I sit down and I close my eyes, then I call for someone to come and guide me to the bed, and then I lay down in bed in a 45 degrees angle, something I Googled for vertigo cure, and that does help almost instantly. I just have to lay there for about 30 minutes to an hour with keeping my head in that way, and I close my eyes. So this is something that gets triggered with fruits, especially papaya. This happened to me 4 or 5 days ago. I ate some papaya. My brother is here, and like they were sharing some food. I'm like, okay, let me just have something that's like a little treat. Had some papaya, vertigo hit, had to go down, lay down. Rest of the day was out. Heart palpitations at all times. This has been for years. This has been like 5 years. Heart palpitations. I can hear my heartbeat at all times. Most of the time nowadays, I kind of tune it out. It just became part of my normal. But at any given time, I know my heartbeat. Like I can hear it in my eardrum. If I was to eat a little bit too fast sometimes, or not chew as thoroughly, sometimes I can hear it a lot more harder in my chest thumping, and I do get a lot of more heart palpitations in the middle of the night, especially if I was exposed to something, let's say earlier on the day, some kind of chemical, or let's say food that I'm not supposed to eat. Another thing in 2020 that started is sensitive to deodorant, soaps, shampoo, any kind of like detergent. So we swapped everything out with plant-based. Some of the stuff, even when it's plant-based, it still has a reaction, like bamboo has a reaction. So even though it's plant-based, anything that has bamboo made out of it, we got some sprays that for cleaning and stuff that was like plant-based with bamboo had reactions. But if it's just like organic, other type of plant-based, then I'm fine with it. So currently all the dishwasher detergents, mopping liquids, showers, soaps, shampoo is plant-based. So there is actually quite a few more that I'm not remembering right now, and that I could list. But these are a good variety and kind of scopes down a lot of the things that I have in different parts of the body. And this is definitely right here the top problems. Okay, starting to get my head pressure. So I'll leave it here. If you watched this whole video, I genuinely want to thank you for taking time and watch this. And even if this doesn't, if you watching doesn't lead to me getting any kind of progress, I still want to very genuinely thank you for taking time to watch it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.